Good morning again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are joining us in today's live lecture coming to you from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is Oye Market Day in the Igbo lunar calendar and 8/14/2025 in the foreign Roman Catholic calendar. Why we give you both days is for you to know that we have our own calendar, and that is the one we're supposed to be using. And remember, at Nkolo Mahadum, we always advise you to use your naturally given common sense, which we call akonuche in Igbo language. And we are primarily set up to save you from miseducation, misinformation, and misdirection from our oppressors, that is the colonial masters and their stooges in Igbo land, Biafra land, and Africa. That is why we package and present our lectures from the Igbo man, Biafran and African perspectives, viewpoints. That is how you should be seeing things and how you should be interpreting things. You cannot be interpreting things from the position of somebody who is in another culture. And therefore, we are appealing to you to please join us, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And most importantly, also like, comment, and share so that we shall know how you are feeling. Today's lecture is very, very important. And the title of today's lecture is How the Secret Services of the Colonial Masters are Against Biafran and African Freedom. How the secret services, all the secret services they have from the colonial masters, how they are against the Biafran and African freedom. And some of the colonial secret services includes the British M16 and M15, the American CIA, the one they call the Five Eyes. The Five Eyes are the UK Secret Services, USA, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Together, working together, are called the Five Eyes. Also, you have the secret services of the Germans, France, Spain, Belgium, to mention a few. All countries have secret services working to protect their interests, their economic and political interests. And so that is why this lecture is very important. How the secret services of the colonial masters are preventing the Biafran restoration project and other freedom fighters or freedom, those who are working for the freedom of, who are trying to emancipate Africa from political, social, and economic strangulation by the colonial masters. And we want to tell you a story, what happened in Iran. In Iran, in 1953, the British M16 and the American CIA, they worked together to remove the Iranian leader, Mohammad Mossadegh. This Iranian leader, Mohammad Mossadegh, nationalized the oil and gas industries in Iran. And the British and American governments does not like that. So they conspired, both the British MI16 and M15 and the American CIA, they worked together and removed that Iranian leader, Mohammad Mossadegh, who had naturalized British oil operations in Iran and they tried to replace him with a puppet. They removed this man to replace him with a puppet called Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. They don't care if the replacement, that is Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, is a dictator. They don't care. Their only interest is to make sure they are in control of the Iranian rich oil and gas. And if not for the Iranian Revolution of 1979 that removed that puppet from Iran, he will remain there to this day. But thank God, the Iranian people conducted a revolution in 1979 and reinstalled Ayatollah Khomeini back to power. And before then, do you know that the former Shah of Iran, that is Ayatollah Saeed Kashani, he was helping to fund both the riots against Mohammad Mossadegh, while M16 was bribing the army, police, politicians, and media houses. What does it tell you? The secret services of Britain, they were heavily involved in bribing the police, the army, the politicians, and the media houses. So that tells you that most of what you see, both the army and police and politicians and even the media houses, they are not for you. In most cases, they are already bribed. So it was the 1979 revolution in Iran that actually saved the Iranian people and Iranian resources. And you know what happened? As soon as that revolution became successful, the British government abandoned the Shah. They abandoned Kashani and went and seek peace with the new people that came into the government, Iranian government, with the revolution. And then what they did was they used and dumped that Shah. Ayatollah Saeed Kashani, who helped them to topple the leader of Iran, who nationalized the British interest, the British oil and gas in Iran, was abandoned. He was used and dumped. That's how they will use, or they continue to use, Africans and dump them at the end of the day if the majority of the people come up and fight against injustice and take over what belongs to them. Why did I make the above reference? I made the above reference with Iran to let you know that the foreign colonial secret services, you can never tell what they are doing from the surface, because everything they are doing with what they call covert operations. In covert operations, they will infiltrate you with concealed identity. They will infiltrate an organization, just like they infiltrated IPOB, with concealed identity, with hidden identity. You wouldn't know that they are the one in your organization. That is how they achieve all the positive results that they do achieve, by using what they call covert operations, which means infiltrating an organization or a country or an institution while concealing, while hiding, while being under something so that you will not know. That's what they are doing. So before we continue, we have to let you know that we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitter, we are live on TikTok. So join us and enjoy this lecture. So the above reference was made to let you know that the interest of the colonial masters is to stop the Biafran and African freedom. And in our case, the Biafran Restoration Project. And all their secret services are all over the place. They are in Igbo land, they are in Biafra land, they are in the whole of Africa, doing their dirty job for their various countries, for the benefit of their home countries. They are all over the place. And in the case of the Biafran Restoration, we all know that they infiltrated the IPOB movement. Yes, they did. They infiltrated IPOB, before you know it, through covert operation by concealing their identity. So that's how they infiltrated. And that was why, even before Nnamdi Kanu, before Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Kenya, he was not communicating effectively with the Directorate of State. They made him to distance himself from the Directorate of State, DOS. And that was why the DOS didn't have any idea, did not know that Nnamdi Kanu went to Kenya, because the secret services, the British M16, M15, the Nigerian DSS, all of them working together, because you know that Nigeria, as it is right now, is being managed, is owned by Britain. They are owned by the Britain. And so the British secret services are the one working and training and working hand in hand together with the Nigerian DSS. They are all working together to make sure that the British interest in Nigeria is sustained and not changed, because they know that the coming of Biafra will shortchange them, will stop their interest and help the people that own the land to prosper. And they don't want that. And so, like we are saying, even before Nnamdi Kanu went to Kenya, the British and other colonial secret services working with Nigerian DSS are already at work, infiltrated IPOB, making sure that Nnamdi Kanu is distanced from the Directorate of State. And that was why when Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Kenya, they didn't know about that, because IPOB have already been infiltrated, and the leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, had been cut off from others. They want to divide you, and they divided Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the Directorate of State. That was what happened. And it didn't end there. So now, after they illegally renditioned him to Nigeria, instead of bringing him to trial, they put him into DSS custody, in the same secret service custody, so that they will continue to monitor his movements, his activities, his discussions, and everything that he does. And up to today, they are the one monitoring, managing everything that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing. They are the one managing everything. in DSS custody. For example, do you know they are the one that made Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to remove Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and Mike Ozekome? Because they know that these are the true legal luminaries that are representing not only Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, but the IPOB worldwide movement. They know, and they don't want to cut it off. That was why they instigated through covert operation to make sure that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu remove Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and Mike Ozekome son. It was them that made it because they want to associate. They want to cut Nnamdi Kanu off. They want to divide the movement, the Directorate of State, from their leadership, from their leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That was what happened. And immediately they finished that, they bring in Aloy Ejimakor and other people that became more prominent after they removed Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and Mike Ozekome is the Kanu family. Emmanuel Kanu, Kingsley Kanu, and Aloy Ejimakor. Are you not surprised why Aloy Ejimakor will still be dancing around as even claiming to be IPOB counsel and Nnamdi Kanu counsel? Are you not surprised? We at Nkolo Mahadum, we are surprised. Because is this not Aloy Ejimakor that came online and addressed the whole world saying that Simon Ekpa is a disciple of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu? That everything Simon Ekpa was doing is doing it on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. He said it publicly. Aloy Ejimakor. He said it publicly. That everything Simon Ekpa was doing, he was doing it on behalf of IPOB, which is completely wrong. Because Simon Ekpa have come out several occasions saying that whatever he's doing on his own. He is doing it as an autopilot, that he has nothing to do with Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and he cannot take order from somebody from prison. And also, Simon Ekpa have never been a member of IPOB. And so why should somebody that claims that he is representing IPOB be the same person saying that Simon Ekpa, which the DOS, which the Directorate of State, have fought hands down, have said time without number that Simon Ekpa is not a member of IPOB. And Simon himself have said many times that he's not a member of IPOB. He's not speaking for IPOB, but speaking under autopilot. But Aloy came and made a contrary statement that is false. And today, he is still masquerading himself as a counsel to IPOB. That's a lie. The same Aloy Ejimakor was the one who said, who is that Chike Doziem? Who is that Chike Doziem? A whole Chike Doziem that is the Director of State of the indigenous people of Biafra. He's trying to put him down publicly, trying to distance himself from the leadership. And so, plus others, plus the fact that when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu rejected Binta Nyako as the judge in his case, that time also was the time he rejected Aloy Ejimakor and his team, because all of them were the one playing that game until Nnamdi Kanu began to see that he is not going anywhere. And right now, in the current trial going on, Aloy Ejimako have not participated in the trial. He has not physically participated in the trial in the courtroom. So why is he still parading himself as a leader, a counsel to Nnamdi Kanu and counsel to IPOB? These are the people that the secret services, M16, British M16, M15, Nigerian DSS, are using to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu remains in custody. Because Aloy Ejimako is not serving either the interest of Nnamdi Kanu right now or the interest of IPOB. What we want you to know is that these are the handiwork of the colonial, British, and their stooge in Nigeria, DSS, all working together to prevent the Biafran restoration project, and in extension, to prevent African freedom from colonialism. And so, another thing going on right now, which is very, very dicey, is what is going on everywhere. Some people, some IPOB family members are against some people in DOS, in Directorate of State. They are against the activities of Chinasa Nworu, Isaiah Oba, Agbayim, the European rep, and Udakeke, the Italian rep. Now, in an organization, if people are complaining, if people who are being led are complaining against some officials, it is important that the leadership look into that complaint. Therefore, we at Nkola Mahadum, we are calling on the Directorate of State, led by Chike Doziem, to address the issue, the allegations being levied against Chinasa Nworu, Isaiah Oba, the European rep, Agbayim, and Italian rep, Udakeke. You should look into that so that we can stop all this noise that is being made all over the place and focus on the restoration of Biafra. Because if you don't know, it could be the handwork of the colonial secret services and DSS to make sure that we remain divided. It could be their handwork because they work covertly. They work underground. They infiltrate you, conceal their identity, conceal their name, conceal their intention. So the leadership should look into that. And as you know, as our people continue to fight against each other, the British intelligence services and their DSS partners will be getting promotion because their handlers, their government will see that they are working. They will see that they are keeping you divided. They are saying that you are fighting against each other. They are seeing that they are slowing down the freedom, the Biafra restoration project, and the African restoration and African freedom at the same time. Because as Biafran restoration is being slowed down, so is African freedom also. Because we all know that as soon as Biafra is restored, that Biafra will influence the radical development and everything will be okay in Africa. Because with Biafra, Africa will get to its destination. which is freedom, economic freedom, political freedom, social freedom, equality in the world, manufacturing of so many things, many infrastructures, we will regain our identity in the world. And so, with all this going on, some of the people in the caliphate will be dancing, some will be drinking their tea in happiness that we are fighting each other. Some will be drinking kununu in happiness that you are being distracted. You are being divided. The restoration is being slowed down. So that's what you should know. It is the handwork of the secret services. So we should come together. Know this and come together. Because together we shall overcome. That's what we need. Geopolitics is divide and rule. And Britain is the mother of geopolitics in the world. And that is why they are using it effectively in Nigeria. You think that the Igbo hatred that is being propagated is the mastermind of Britain? Because that's what they need to keep the Igbos away from power, from getting close. And so we Africans must wake up, understand what is going on, and don't allow them, because we believe that what they can do, we can do better. Now that we know that they are the one causing all the division, dividing our leadership, our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, from the DOS, and even after they rendition him back to Nigeria, they removed Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and Ezekome, whom they know are the really serious, staunch defenders of freedom, and replaced them with a puppet, Aloy Ejimakor. And Aloy Ejimakor failed woefully. And even now, why is he still parading himself, running around Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Why he's not participating in any of the cases? And before we continue again, we have to beg you to please join us, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, so that anytime we do a new lecture, you'll be the first to get it. Plus, go back to our previous lectures, because many of our lectures are meant for you, to save you from miseducation, misinformation, and misdirection by the colonial oppressors and their stooges in our land, in Biafra land, and in Africa. So our topic today is to let you know how the secret services of the colonial masters are against the Biafran and African freedom. And you know, inside the African freedom is the Biafran Restoration Project. And we gave you some names, like some of the colonial secret services, the British M16 and M15, the American CIA, and there's the one they call the Five Eyes. The Five Eyes, made up of UK, USA, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. And these countries that I mentioned now are countries that came out of Western Europe. Remember, it was Western Europeans, mainly British people, that came to this current America. They are the same people that went to Canada with some French people. The same thing with Australia and New Zealand. The same Western Europeans. They have common security, common secret services called Five Eyes. Also, you have the one from Germany, France, Spain, Belgium. All of them have secret services working for the interest of their mother countries. And we use the case of Iran to tell you how these secret services work. That in 1953, the British M16 and M15 and American CIA, they worked together and removed an Iranian leader named Mohammad Mossadegh. What crime did he commit? He didn't commit any crime, but he nationalized the British oil operations in Iran. And they didn't like it. Because once you nationalize, you want your own people to be the one controlling that resources, the oil and gas. But they don't want it. And so they plan a coup and replaced him with their puppet, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. They don't care whether their replacement is a dictator. You can see by what is going on in Syria, where they use a known terrorist now to be the president of Syria. So they don't care. All they care is their interest, their ability to control your resources. That's what they care for. And even the Shah, Ayatollah Sayyid Kashani, during the time that their puppet was there, was one of those funding the riots in Iran. But the M16 also was bribing the army, the police, the politicians, and the media houses. So what happened in Iran can tell you exactly what is going on around the world. Because if you come to Nigeria, for example, or Africa, the same way they bribe the army and police and politicians and the media houses in Iran, the same way they are bribing them all over the place. So what you are getting is not what you're supposed to get. They are not for you. They are for those giving them money, those who have bought them over. That's why we told you that story. And also, another important story is that when the Iranian people rose up in 1979 and had their revolution and removed that British and American puppet and installed back their Ayatollah Khomeini, that the British government and the American government abandoned the other Shah. They abandoned them, which means they used them and dumped them. And now going towards the new government, because they still want to be getting something from Iran. That is why the incident, this is not a story. It's something that actually happened in Iran. And so we are bringing that home to Biafra land and Africa. And we are saying that the reference we made about Iran is to let you know that the colonial powers are interested in stopping the Biafran and African freedom through their secret services working together with the Nigerian DSS. And you know that the British is the owner of Nigeria. Their DSS, their M16 and M15 are the ones training the Nigerian security services. So they are working together. And we are letting you know that they are using what they call covert operation. And covert operation is infiltration undercover, where they hide their identity. They conceal their identity. You don't know, you wouldn't know that they're there. So that's what they use to infiltrate IPOB. So when they infiltrated IPOB, they tried to separate our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, from the DOS. And they did that successfully. Because Nnamdi Kanu, when he went to Kenya, the DOS didn't know he was going to Kenya. The DOS didn't know he was in Kenya. The DOS didn't know he was kidnapped. Because he didn't tell them. Because the secret services have successfully infiltrated and cut him off from his foundation. The foundation of Nnamdi Kanu is DOS. So they cut him off. So even after they renditioned him illegally to Nigeria, they put him in in the same Secret Service detention because they want the Secret Service to be monitoring everything that he's doing. And so when the Secret Services identified that Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and Mike Ozekame are the true foundation, true judicial leaders, true judicial lawyers that Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB has that will lead them to success. They planned against them. That was why they were removed. And soon after they were removed, they put their own person in the name of Barrister Aloy Ejimako. And then you start to hear the family name, Emmanuel Kanu, Kensele Kanu. All of them are being used by the Secret Services to make sure that they keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu long, very longer than he should stay in detention. And that is what we are witnessing today. And we are saying that Aloy Ejimako is not supposed to be anywhere close to Nnamdi Kanu right now, if not for the handwork of the Secret Services. Because Aloy Ejimako was the one who came to tell us that Simon Ekpa is a disciple of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that whatever Simon Ekpa was doing on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, which was total lie. Because Simon Ekpa himself have told the world that he doesn't take order from anybody. He's the leader of autopilots. He said it publicly. And then the same Aloy Ejimako was the one who said, who is that Chike Doziem? Who is that Chike Doziem? I mean, Chike Doziem, who is the leader of the Directorate of State, like the chairman, like this Senate president of the Directorate of State. And we want to let you know that it was when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu fired Binta Nyako that he indirectly also fired Aloy Ejimako. But now he's still pestering around, running around, saying he's leader of IPOB, he's the counsel to IPOB and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But he doesn't participate in the court activities. Have you ever seen him recently in the courtroom now defending Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? The answer is no. He shouldn't be there, if not that he's working with Nigerian security services and the British M16 and M15. That's what we want you to know, that it is the secret services that are deciding and influencing all the activities of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in detention. And what is going on now, where some people are against some leaders in DOS, it's also the handwork of the security services. That's what we want you to know. It is the security services that are putting fire, putting fuel so that we can be disagreeing and leave what we are supposed to be doing and doing something else. It is them. But we are advising the DOS that those members of DOS, Chinasa Nworu, Isaiah Oba, Abayim, the European rep, and the Italian coordinator, Odakeke, you should investigate into the complaint of the people. It is very important. You listen to the complaint and investigate the complaints. That is the type of Biafra we are looking for. We don't look for Biafra where an official will be doing the wrong thing, and when the people speak up, that official will not be prosecuted. Remember, in China, they kill so many of the leaders because of corruption or lying. That is the type of Biafra we need. We need answers to questions. And so, what we are advising everybody is to shield your sword. Shield your sword now, because if you don't, the British M16 and 15 and people in DSS will be getting promotion. They will be seeing them as that they are working. They'll be getting more promotion. Those of them drinking tea will be drinking. Some will be dancing. Some will be drinking kununu because they are happy that you have been misdirected. You are not together because Nandeba is na anyuka million or together we stand and win, and divided we fall. And the job of the security services is to divide you, because Britain is the master of geopolitics, and geopolitics means divide and rule. So anywhere they come, they find a way to cause division. As soon as they continue to cause division, you cannot be able to come together to fight what belongs to you. You see it? So that's why we are calling on everybody. Shade your sword. Everything that has happened since the infiltration through covert operation, through underground operation of IPOB, disconnecting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the leadership, illegally releasing him to Nigeria, seeing that the main lawyers that we have are removed, Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor and Michael Zekome, Sam, we are removed because they know these are the lawyers that are truly representing the Biafran restoration project. They are the one. And now they put in their stooges, Aloy Ejimako. And we are asking, why is Aloy Ejimako still doing over there? He's no longer participating in anything. And finally, we are advising the leadership of the Directorate of State to look into the complaint against Mazi Chinasa Nworu, Isaiah Oba, Abanyim, and Oda Keke, because we need to calm down the tempo. Everybody calm down, and so that we can unite. Because if we don't, the people working in M15 and 16, DSS, we continue to get promotion because it's like they are working. They are destabilizing the movement. And those drinking tea will be drinking tea amongst them. Those drinking kununu will be drinking kununu amongst them. Those dancing will be dancing against them. While the restoration movement is slowing down. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining us today, and have a good day. Thank you. And share this lecture, like it, comment, and share. And subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And with this, we shall bring it today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining me.